All right, along this line, we're going to assume the Schofield note is wrong because the way the word is used. For example, in Matthew 24, verse 34, where he's asking the question, it says, "This generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled." The word generation in Matthew is never used in the sense of a race, but in the sense of somebody who's present there at that time. Matthew 24:34, "Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all these things be fulfilled." What generation? Verse 32, "Now learn a parable of the fig tree." Evidently Schofield didn't learn it. Now, I'm not making fun of a Schofield Bible. An old Schofield Reference Bible is the best reference Bible you can get. A Thompson Chain Reference Bible is amillennial. A Thompson Chain Reference Bible may have more references in it and more maps in it and pretty pictures. But when you check the Last Judgment, a Thompson Chain Reference Bible, you'll find it equated with Matthew 25, the judgment seat of Christ. So the Schofield Reference Bible is still the best reference Bible in print. Now I'll make myself clear, real clear. Folks have a funny way of getting things twisted, I say. I don't see how they do it. God knows enough of it's on tape. But I have never had any criticism or argument with any of these men except where they correct the Bible. Now, where they cross this book, they cross me. This is my book. God gave me this book. I eat it. It is sweet to my taste. It's what old Job said, "I have esteemed the words of thy mouth more than my necessary food." David said, "Thy word is very pure, therefore thy servant loveth it." Now, if you came up the way I came up, you'd appreciate pure things. I came through the sewer. I wasn't raised, I was dragged. And when I was 27 years old, I got saved. My background is a dance band drummer, a DI in the infantry, a radio disc jockey, a newspaper cartoonist, a lifeguard, and a bartender. Now, if you know what's involved in those professions, you know the root. And when I got saved, I found something pure. And when I found something pure, I made up my mind I would never mess it up by the grace of God. God knows there's a few enough pure things in this earth without me messing this thing up. I never found nothing in this earth that isn't stained or defiled, except this book. I like little children. I get along real good with kids about 2, 3, and 4. I like them. You say, why do you like them? Because they're innocent. Innocent. Girls get bigger, they're not so innocent. Do you ever take a little 1-year-old baby and look at it in the face? That kid will stare a hole through you. Just stare a hole through you. The kid just... He got nothing to worry about. He got nothing on his conscience at all. Absolutely nothing. And so, God knows there are few enough pure things in this world. When you find something pure, you ought to leave it alone. Now, I found a pure book one time. I've read a book a day since I was 10 years old. And when I got saved, I had a college education without ever having read this book. I'd finished, I read most of the Encyclopedia Britannica Americana before I was 25. Most of it. And the first time I found me a pure book began to clean up my life, people began to attack it. So I fought back. I fight fire with fire. They step on my toes, I step on theirs. I step hard. I step hard. Lester Roloff, he steps lightly. He's a good fellow, he loves the Lord, but you know, he's kind of a hillbilly kind of fellow. And so when he steps, it don't hurt too bad. They got him up to Bob Jones last year, made him the Christian of the Year. I thank God they did. I think he deserved it. I think he earned it. I love Brother Roloff, appreciate him. But I kind of envy him, kind of jealous of him. He can stand up there and say the King James Bible is the Word of God, and people accept it. I get up and say it, and they get nervous. You know why? Because Brother Roloff doesn't teach Hebrew and Greek. I teach Hebrew and Greek. A man that teaches Hebrew and Greek isn't supposed to believe what I believe. A man that teaches Hebrew and Greek is supposed to correct it to the Hebrew and Greek. I don't correct it. So I'm a bad boy. Now what I'm going to say is this. When I find something pure, I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not going to fool it. I'm going to leave it alone. And when these fellows reach over here and step on it, Brother Rice says Revelation 22:14 should be this, and Pettingill gave a line in Schofield said the sons of God are the sons of, Seth. Step on over here. and somebody steps over here and says Joseph should be father, Luke 2:33, and stepping over there, I kick back. I kick back hard. Now, that's the only argument I have with him. Brother Fleming said to me one day, he said, I'm going to have a sword conference here next year and invite you in. I said, good, I'll be there. And he said, wouldn't you feel kind of funny sitting down with Brother Hiles and Brother Lee Robertson and Brother Rice? I said, no, why should I? Why should I, man? My conscience is clear. Why should I worry about eating chicken dinner with those fellas? Now, they might get ulcers. Wouldn't give me ulcers, man. I'd enjoy the meal. I wouldn't sit down at the meal and say, how come you're teaching this about the King James Bible? What are you, the virgin? Not me, man. I behave like a gentleman. You wouldn't believe that, but I can. I mean, I'd sit down at the table and please pass us all. I see how you get along. Well, I appreciate your work up there. You know so-and-so doing a good job. Mind my business. I mean, I've said what I want to say. I got no fight to pick with a man until he begins to correct that Bible. When he corrects that Bible, we'll waltz. We'll waltz. Now, Schofield was a fine, godly fellow, loved the Lord, believed the book. He was a cavalry officer in the Southern Army in the Civil War. He is a converted drunken lawyer after they made him Attorney General of Kansas. And CI Scofield, one of the finest Christians ever lived. And that Schofield Reference Bible is about the best reference Bible you can get. If you got an old one, you better keep it. But occasionally, like Romans chapter 8, verse 1, and occasionally, like the notes on Mark 16, and occasionally, like the footnote in Genesis 6, and occasionally, like the footnote in Matthew 24, and occasionally, like the summary in apostasy under 2 Timothy chapter 4, Schofield will be anxious to let you know he's an educated fellow. It's awful hard for a man's education to try to keep him from showing it off. A doctorate about 10 years ago, an honorary doctorate, he wouldn't take it. He said that'd be like putting whipped cream on an onion. And somebody said to Lester Roloff, they said, you haven't had much higher education, have you? He said, yeah, I have, but I got over it. And if you want to know why I've never been tempted to show mine off, it's because I was raised in a very brutal and base fashion. Brother Denant was talking about one of you young men here the night, whose favorite verse was the things that are naught and the things, that are base to confound the things that are, That's my life verse, brother. That verse says the things that are the base things, to confound, to bring naught the things that are, to no flesh and glorious presence. That's me. I'm down the bottom. I came to the basement. When I have a mighty revival, I get up just about the level of the gutter, almost. I mean, I live my life, my whole life, in kind of a depressive frame of mind that I guess a normal person driving crazy. And it never occurred to me to attempt to show off my education because I had such a brutal upbringing. I'm not too convinced that education is anything. Now, I've had 22 years of it. And God knows what, I'm not sold in education. A bit. I think if a fellow learns how to read and write, he's not lazy and gets saved, it'd be a success. And I think if your education can't teach you how to read and write and take the laziness out of you and get you saved, it ain't worth nothing to start with. So I've never been much tempted to show the thing off. And if I came to some place where I thought, and I never thought it yet and hope I never do, where my education would be superior and kind of help God out, I wouldn't be tempted to use it. You know what you're worth? Anybody sitting in this building? You're worth about 6 cents. And about inflationary prices, 10 cents. 6 cents is the price of a .30-06 rifle shell. And a .30-06 rifle shell will put any one of you to bed with a shovel. And I'll tell you come up that way, and I've been in outfits where a guy had a PhD, he's dead. A guy was conducting a symphony orchestra, dead. All-American football player stepped in the mine, off go his legs. Some guy, medical doctor, shell comes down, blows his head off, and the helmet slides down over his neck. And when you're raised in that kind of a destructive atmosphere, you get one lesson through your head real quickly. And that is, brethren, we are expendable. And when I say expendable, I mean there's no man this earth that God can't get along without. And these fellows get talking about their degrees and their Greek and the Hebrew. It just bores me, man. In the scholar in this world, God couldn't take out of this world tonight, and nobody'd miss him, and the Lord wouldn't miss him 15 minutes. You think about that a while.